Hello everyone, this is just a short video to show how to use the BC Rugby self-review and coaching review template. So to find the review template to do a review of your own game or a review of someone else's game, super easy. Go to bcrugby.com. Over here, just hover over referees and coaches. If you hover on referees, you'll see two sections: become a referee and referee resources. We go into referee resources. Over here, divided between on-field and off-field. Obviously, our video resources, development sessions, strength and conditioning information is all in the on-field section. But all of our admin, review, sport Lomo stuff is all in the off-field section. So if we go to preparation and review, so again, super easy, referee resources, off-field, preparation review, and here we have game scheduler, game day guidelines. We click on preparation review template, and that will bring up a download of a Word document. We open up this Word document. It will look something like this when it's filled out. So we have a pre-game plan from one of our referees doing a third division men's game last Saturday. They can input and populate the fields here. I've just gone and populated these from a verbal discussion that I had with the referee. But if you're refereeing and you want to review your own game, you can pop these in, on a Thursday or Friday night yourself. So we're just focusing primarily on the technical priority. So we're talking, big picture stuff, breakdown, set piece, space. The tactical or strategic priorities, so stuff around positioning, communication management, priorities, etc., and our mental priority, so what's going through our head in order to allow us to be successful. So once these are populated, you can go and you can look at your own points that you put in here, or if you're reviewing someone else's footage, you just look at this, see where the referee's at. Then you can go in to the video. So John's video was that of UBC Surrey. So in this example, this video is available on YouTube through the UBC Rugby YouTube channel. Obviously, our Premier League footage is all up on Coach Logic, but most clubs who have multiple teams and most first division clubs, Premier clubs, all have videos available. So again, if you need help finding that, you can contact the club or contact myself, and I can help you locate footage. But effectively, we're not even going to look at the entire game. We're just going to look at the opening 25 minutes or so, because again, looking at these areas that we want to highlight, looking at our breakdown, looking at some strategic priorities and a mental priority. We can look at those and see how we're doing or how the referee's doing just based on a section of the video. So it's a little bit more efficient with time. So just before we go to the video, we go down to the review section. So this was blank. I've just filled these in with just a red, amber, green across the board. So our breakdown, space, set piece management competencies. And as we're going through the video, if we see something that would correspond either positively or negatively to each of these competencies, we can note the time and say whether or not we think it's a consistent good area, one that requires a bit of work, or something that requires some urgent attention. At any rate, so just before I populate these, I go down to the work on section. This is where we can write our specific timestamps in there and a little comment. And after, if you like, you can even color code these using the paint can button on Microsoft Word. And then you just pop in the time to the competencies. And obviously I was a little specific on set piece, line out, and scrum, because obviously set piece is more than just one element. So looking at a couple examples, so our first clip here, line out formation. So if we go to 45 seconds, I always give a little bit of lead time on the clip, as it's important to watch a few seconds before to understand what's going on. So we'll watch from approximately 45 seconds here. So I noticed we need a little bit more lead time, so I might make a quick adjustment here. Ask John to look at 35 seconds, and that'll be a little bit more clear. Apologies for that. So going into here, we have a line out for UBC in blue here. My comment is just a solution. So again, he can say time off, UBC, you must be in the line out, or please step in the line out, whatever you want. Waiting until they're in the line out as a team, as one line, and then putting time on. Again, not an acceptable lineout formation, and again, just clarifying for the referee or for ourselves, walking in is okay as long as they, the team forming the lineout, do not stop in that process. So we see in the lead up, we have a bookend here, common tactic in modern rugby, players standing outside, receiver kind of mats in the mix, one player decides to leave. Eventually, and it's really hard to get a good gap here as the referee because you're trying to sort out the formation. Eventually, they walk into the lineout and they throw immediately, which kind of gives a cheap win to the front and not a really fair opportunity for the opposition to contest. So obviously not a big red button issue. It's not on the 5 meter line. No one scored a try. Nobody died. Just something to be aware of. So we either highlight ourselves or the referees on this to the set piece section. So set up. So again, required space and stability that pertains to scrum and line out time. So particularly with the formation, the space is not really, the space has to be respected by the defense, but also by the attack in forming one line. So we just put 35 seconds into the footage and line out. And then that will take the referee to the clip, and then they can watch the evidence for themselves, or for yourself if you're doing your self-review using this tool. So looking at 53 seconds space. So just a positive note here. Well done not to guess. Surrey, the black team, clearly onside. So we'll jump up to this next phase here. We see that everyone is starting in a good onside position. The ball's in the hands of number 2, and then the shooter comes up out of the line to put pressure totally legally on the first receiver. Just really well done to the referee to display some patience there. So, obviously those positive comments we can put into our competencies. So getting into space. So we want to reward good timing when players are onside. And again, it's a tactical side of refereeing, but a very important element of refereeing at any level. So I just wanted to make note of that. That next clip at 1 minute, just wanted to give a shout out for good patience. UBC win a scrum turnover. Again, technically you can argue that the ball comes out the same tunnel, but again, it's a very good game outcome with the dominant team eventually winning a penalty kick as opposed to stopping the game and giving the ball back to the team who was under pressure. So scrum goes down, Surrey putting the ball in, big legal dominant surge incoming from UBC, and the ball, kind of touches the hooker's foot, comes out. Now we could easily sell same tunnel decision, but if we happen to be watching something else, this isn't the worst outcome in the world. UBC ended up winning the ball pretty fairly. So again, it's even if something might be technically at issue, looking at big picture strategic decision making, we can identify that as being positive. So under set piece, talking about legal dominance, in my view, the legal dominance was rewarded by the team surging forward having possession. And again, there's no problem with coming back for the ball coming out the same tunnel. You can argue that, but we can also argue the ball was played at by Black, came off the hooker's foot, and then a big dominant surge forward from UBC and them winning possession. So again, you can look at the game in a technical lens, but also from a tactical or strategic lens. there. And again, opinions can vary on those, but again, I just feel it's important to honor the fact that the referee was aware of who was dominant in that situation. At 3 minutes, another one. So again, another positive, well dealt with. But again, we're just also adding a small note. Just banging the penalty kick. Let's not play advantage when the team who's not offended is not going to score, or doesn't really have a clear chance of scoring, or producing a positive attack. So going to 3 minutes. Again, everything we try to write on these templates, either for ourselves or for others, should indeed be evidence driven. So again, if the video is available to us, which it is. So again, player comes in from an offside position, takes number 9 out. Yes, the ball goes backwards. First instinct from the referee, stick an arm out, play some advantage. Team's under pressure, whistle comes in. So again, nothing good can happen with teams going backwards. Again, it's the right decision, so we want to honor that from the referee. But a small note can be put in as well, even though we would consider it as a green clip. We can still add, hey, just bang in the penalty kick, and a little bit of a why explanation there. So at 3 minutes, we can put that into pillars being clearly onside. So obviously he's made sure and set an expectation as the referee that the first defender or the pillars, if they're going to compete for first base, that they're clearly in an onside position. So without going through all of these clips, I've just added a couple pieces at the bottom here in blue. So these are what I would call kind of an X factor. So they don't really pertain to the competencies that we've established, but they're something just as an aside that referees need, or tools that makes a good referee. So at 15:30, just noted, nice job flashing some wheels. John's actually a very accomplished strength and conditioning coach, and specializes in running form and technique. So I just like how, without making a big show of himself and without clearly being in duress, just nice smooth running style, and works all the way to the goal line and awards the try. So it's just some X factor there. He flashes the wheels a little bit, but again, doesn't make it about himself, doesn't make a big show of it, and just says, yeah, I'm here, I'm going to award the try, and move on. So good work from the referee there. And again, at 2020, a very similar kind of X factor show of a good referee, just near the goal line, some urgency displayed, moving around and making sure he gets in a good position to make a big goal line decision. And again, and after he gives a decision, good humble body language, not an oversell. Obviously it's going to be a gut breaker for the attack, but makes a clear decision, and players are able to move on. So again, these are just some X factor things we can call attention to. And you can also address sometimes when the referee blew the whistle and was technically right, but maybe you thought he could have played on. So I'll just show one last clip at 21:30. The referee blows his whistle. So dominant collision comes in from black. And that was actually one of the work-ons for the referee, was rewarding dominant collisions, and the pass back on the floor under a bit of pressure. But again, UBC, yes, they have the ball and they've lost the collision, but they're under heaps of pressure here from Surrey, and maybe a little knock-on comes in from UBC 9 as well. And John actually decides to award penalties. Again, if you could argue that there was an infringement from this player, the ball carrier on the ground, But again, you know, he fires the ball at the back. They're under tons of pressure, and there's a bit of a knock on that comes in, and it would have been, you know, scrum to Surrey. So just a little note here, you know, play on here as UBC are always going to retain possession, and we can also add under pressure and you know, knock on is available for us as a smart decision. So again, not telling ourselves or the referee if you're doing someone else's game, but again, just saying like, hey, this decision's available to us. And 2130 would just put that under contextual judgment. So just gauging the temperature of the game, the balance, and the game situation. You know, what is the best game decision here, as opposed to just simply going to the letter of the law outcome. At any rate, again, this is not the only way to look at your self-review or look at the review of another referee. It's just one way to do it. But again, it's available on the BC Rugby website. And after you've done this, it would be great if you can send this along to my email, which is available again on the BC Rugby website, and pretty easy to find as well. cassmus@bcrugby.com. So again, these are available in referee resources, in the off-field section under preparation and review. The template is available there. At any rate, if there are any other inquiries or thoughts or comments on this version of a review process, please send them along to myself. But at any rate, thanks for taking the time to watch the video, and enjoy the rugby.